Okay, here's my garden at an undisclosed point of Toronto. As we can see, some of the perennial stuff. It's now April 26th. This stuff I planted last year. I don't quite recall what it was called, but it's obviously perennial since we see it's coming back. We got their really thick undergrowth there. And we have a number of sticks here that I put here because we had climbing vines last year. We had morning glory. If you look at my other video of my garden from last year, morning glory was the main thing, which was a climbing vine which kind of pretty much took over everything and nothing else really got to grow. Here's some of it right here. It grew up the fence, climbed upward here. Look carefully at the morning glory right here. It's all oxidized now. This is no good anymore. This is from last year. So we just take it off. It's completely oxidized, completely devoid of nutrition. But if we look, we can still see the sort of basket weave sort of formations that they make. They climb into one another, they climb around one another, and they wrap around anything. And yeah, this stuff, I don't know, I guess maybe a bird can make a nest out of this stuff now, but I'm taking it all off. See that, just climbed right up the fence. And we got more of it right here. This is where the main thing of morning glory, the whole patch started up last year. Now look at it, it's all oxidized, it's all lost all its nutrition, all its life force. And this here is something else perennial, I'm not quite sure. I've seen this all over the neighborhood though. This probably is just an early sprouting plant, probably won't last much. Maybe, by the way, is corn from last season. You can kind of see that it's sort of stockish nature. Sort of almost like dried straw at this point. So yeah, this is completely oxidized, and here's the root. As you can see, it doesn't go that deep, but yeah, that's corn. So we're gonna anyway, I'm gonna continue to work on the garden area here. I'm gonna rake it up right now, and then I'm gonna have a bit of a raised bed. I just ran into somebody who they do the landscaping here, and they actually told me my plan was to plant corn, beans, and squash. The Three Sisters. It's an old Native American or Native First Nation technique of growing. Hopefully, be able to see it when I start growing it. But a guy told me I'm actually not allowed to plant vegetables here due to the aesthetic of the condo corporation here. I was pretty upset about to hear this. Apparently, I can grow it here in my backyard, but I don't really got the space in my backyard. Squash, we're allowed to plant flowers, but we're not allowed to plant vegetables. However, I do have some flowers with the vegetables. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to plant some flowers with it, and we'll see what comes up first. I know I planted beans last year, green beans, and they were really hidden. They grew out in vines. And squash itself is a flowering plant, so it'll appear as a flower, and hopefully the vegetable part will be hidden. Anyway, I talked to this guy for a while. He was trying to be nice to me. It's not his fault, it's his job, I know. I mean, I do a job where I gotta tell people stuff. You know, there's certain rules that I gotta lay down that I don't always necessarily agree with in my personal beliefs. But I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna plant some vegetables here anyway in this little plot here, because this is, you know, what I'm doing is part of a movement. I'm trying to, the only thing is they'll have an eye on me now. They'll have an eye on what I'm planting here. But you know what, I really don't care. I don't care what the condo corporation here says. I don't really care what a court of law says. This is a plot of land. If I want to grow vegetables here, I can do it. I don't care if people take the vegetables. I think that the way food prices are going and everything, I think it's our right to be able to plant on the land, which doesn't really belong to anybody. And I don't really need a condo corporation telling me what I can or cannot plant in the space here. That's what this movement's all about. I'm going to be planting vegetables. We got some sunflower, so they're supposed to be really good for corn, beans, and squash. Supposed to help with shade and a bunch of other things. This is cinnamon basil. I got this from Sky Garden. We can see a video on that I've done before. This stuff's supposed to confuse, the scents confuse pests. They call it the warrior plants. They help with produce a lot. This here is orange sweet pepper. Tastes really good. Coriander. That's another scent pest confuser. And then we've got some beans, some squash, that's the basic Three Sisters, dill, which is also good for dealing with pests, some more beans, more squash. Where's the corn? These are flowers right here, so this can also help confuse the landowners who are trying to thwart the plans to produce produce. Squash, which is flowering plants, so they'll also confuse them. And finally, we got more squash and beans. A lot of stuff here. I'm going to put this all in one spot. And more beans. And finally, corn, which is one of the most important of the three sisters. So I'm going to plant these, and I'll be able to show once it's planted what it looks like and everything, and then we'll apply the dirt and make it. So there we have it. We've planted various seeds here: sunflowers, herbs, the dill, the basil, and everything, coriander, and corn beans, and squash, and orange peppers, and a few other things. We'll see how it grows, and I'm about to cover it up with dirt, and I don't care. I don't care what the corporation says. Certified gardening gangsta here. Dark earth down. This is black earth. You get it for about $2. Dirt cheap, so to speak. And I'll be leveling it out now. I don't know. This project's going to be tough. We'll see how things go in. Hopefully, we'll have a bunch of flowers coming up first, and herbs and stuff. Flowers and herbs, and the veggies can maybe, intermingle inside them. We'll have updates every week or so. Just please stay tuned. We got a lot of new videos coming up. Thanks for watching.